This is a big day for the Utah Jazz because for the first time in what seems like over a decade, it feels like the Jazz have national credibility because they are going to play on Christmas Day. They will be the caboose to the NBA train, if you will. They'll be the late game against the Dallas Mavericks. They will follow the Lakers and the Nets, which, by any other word, you would say is the marquee matchup of the night. But, Jake, how significant is this that the Utah Jazz get a Christmas Day game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. You look at the way this offseason has gone, and there hasn't really been a piece of bad news at all this offseason. You've done well in the draft. Summer League's gone great. Everything's going awesome. And now you're on the Christmas Day slate, which is a huge tip of the cap to you because there are five games, 10 teams, and you're one of those 10. So, yeah, that's a big deal. That's awesome. I think it speaks to Donovan Mitchell's stardom. I think it speaks to the fact that, the Jazz were, the number one seed last year, and the NBA feels as though there is an audience for them. And at the end of the day, whether they put this matchup together because of Luka or, because this is what they could figure out, the fact is you're in. You're playing on Christmas Day, and that's a big deal. When you ask players how special it is to play on Christmas Day, they take it very seriously. And so that's why I just think for the organization it's definitely a win. There's no other way to spin it.
Hey, by the way, just curious, Ace wants to know if this means Luka's mom is going to be in Salt Lake City.
I mean, I think it may mean that, yes.
That's it. This could be a big event. What I think it means is that the Jazz have a modicum of credibility. I'm
sorry, did you say a modicum?
A certain bit.
Okay.
A significant amount of credibility. I mean, when you're coming off of a season, get a thesaurus, sir. When you're coming off of a season where you had the best record in the NBA, you would expect these kinds of honors. And it truly is an honor to play on Christmas Day. When the NBA picks its games, they pretty much have a captive audience. I mean, it is, as we're going to talk about in a minute, NBA on Christmas Day is a tradition that dates back to my childhood. I remember watching Lakers Celtics. I remember, having sports on holidays is a big part of families in this country. And so when you're the Utah Jazz and you get to be part of that and you're playing an important game because, the Mavericks are a decent team. The Jazz have very high expectations. The NBA has expectations for the Jazz. Now the NBA is kind of tipping their cap to the Jazz saying, hey, you had a great 2020 season. Here, we're going to put you on Christmas Day because we think people will watch. And if you look at the slate of games on that day, Jake, that's nothing to shake a stick at. Following Lakers and Nets you're going to have a huge audience.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that, the league always does a good job of kind of putting the best matchups in prime time, and whoever follows those two primetime matchups really should do well. And I just think that anytime, there's a lot of run on Twitter right now about the fact that a year ago Donovan Mitchell put up 57 in a playoff game against the Nuggets. And I think that, the league understands that Donovan Mitchell has the ability to do big things in big moments, yes. And I think that's why he's getting the respect that he's getting.
There's no doubt that Donovan Mitchell is one of the young superstars in this league, and I look at the other games on the slate. Hawks-Knicks, it's the New York Knicks. I think with their resurgent season last year, you understand why they're on Christmas Day. Especially at the Garden. Celtics and Bucks, absolutely the NBA champion's going to be on Christmas Day. You get Warriors and Suns. This is a huge thing for the Phoenix Suns because as well as they did last year, winning the Western Conference, going to the NBA Finals, again, playing on Christmas Day against one of the most popular players in the world in Steph Curry, there's going to be a big audience for that leading you into Brooklyn at Los Angeles, the Nets and the Lakers. Huge audience for that. And then you have the Jazz bringing up the rear against the Dallas Mavericks with Donovan Mitchell. I think this is a huge opportunity for Donovan Mitchell, Jake, to get exposure, frankly, to a lot of NBA fans who don't probably know a lot about Donovan Mitchell because he plays in Utah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have heard the name, but they haven't seen the game. They haven't. It's not like it's not like, oh, LeBron or KD or like, people know who those guys are. They know the game. They know what they're about. But when you think of someone like, Don or Book or, I hesitate to say Jason Tatum, but maybe even Jason Tatum in some cases, for a very casual outside looking in supporter who would be watching on Christmas Day, these are huge opportunities. And so overall, I just think that this is Don's first Christmas Day game, and you can be sure that he's going to make the most of it. Now the biggest thing that I think we have to look out for on this Christmas Day slate is injuries. I think we're talking about, in the Lakers and Nets, we're talking about two teams that have struggled to stay healthy. And so that Christmas Day matchup on paper looks great, but what does it really look like when we get there?
Wow.
And so to me, it's like, yes, this is awesome, but let's wait and see what it actually is when we get there.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about it because as I said, I romanticized the NBA on TV as a kid. I mean, the music, like that was the anthem of my basketball fandom, right? And obviously growing up in Chicago, Michael Jordan had a huge influence on my fandom. So if you think back to your childhood and you think about those sports moments that were so important, watching Lakers and Celtics at my aunt's house, watching the shot on Elo at my sister's house, like I have a lot of memories. Being on the floor at Chicago Stadium to watch the Bulls win championships, Kobe and Shaq winning championships, the Kobe and Shaq dunk against Portland, like all of these memories that I have in my head as a younger guy, a lot of them are around holidays. A lot of them are the NFL on Thanksgiving. A lot of them are, for me, like the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was always one of the most important events. Ryan Sandberg playing in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was a huge moment for me, right? I remember, the night when the Cubs got lights at Wrigley Field. I remember watching that game on TV.
Yeah, most people don't know they didn't always have lights.
Yeah, like it's so that's why this is so important. There are going to be a brand new generation of Utah Jazz fans staying up on Christmas night to watch the Utah Jazz play the Dallas Mavericks. And it's going to be in your own building. It's in your city. It's like, hey, I live in South Jordan, and look at that. It's downtown Salt Lake on Christmas night.
How many parents are going to buy their kids a Don jersey as a gift because, Don's playing that night?
How many parents are going to buy their kids tickets to that game for Christmas? Like, it's everything that you want as an NBA fan. Look at Nets and Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to be, but I would love to be at the Jazz game. If you're in LA, you'd love to be at the Lakers-Nets game.
Yeah.
Like these are all huge moments in time. And frankly, I'm here for it. I love to think about sports on TV on holidays. What's your favorite? Do you have...
The NBA on Christmas Day is easily my favorite. I mean, I think the NFL on Thanksgiving is awesome. But on Thanksgiving, we don't, if you think about it, on Thanksgiving, what does our family typically do? Like as a kid, it was, hey, get together, huge family gatherings, eat and watch football. But for us, with where we're at now, it's kind of like, okay, well, what can we do with Thanksgiving? In prior years, we've gone up to Park City and enjoyed our Thanksgiving that way. We've done different things with Thanksgiving. So to me, Chris, honestly, man, like I love. And this is a little kid coming out in me. I love the time of year we're in right now because we can start to look forward to awesome times, in the holiday season. And so the reason for me that Christmas Day is so special is because the end of the year, ever since we started working at the Yelpatory, we take about, I don't know, what do you think? 3 weeks? Probably? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
At least 2 weeks. 2 full weeks off from work. So you're really happy. You're really enjoying life.
Yeah.
You can look. It's like it's snowing outside. It's awesome. Like it's just a great time of the year. And so when you can, open up the gifts, watch your family open up the gifts, have all that joy in your life, and then flip on the tube and you've got KD and LeBron going at each other.
Yeah, man.
I mean that's what I think is really tough to beat. And then on top of that, not only do you have the NBA on TV all day, you can go and snowboard, you can go and do all these great things. So I think for me, the NBA on Christmas Day it's part of a bigger picture that is just a phenomenal time of the year.
Well, James Knight brings up an interesting question, and this is something we've talked about, I feel like, a couple of times, but we haven't done it on the show yet.
Yeah.
James Knight says, forgive my ignorance, but are you saying Donovan Mitchell isn't already a household name among NBA fans, or am I underestimating the smaller market? I actually don't think Donovan Mitchell's a superstar.
I think if you ask like an East Coaster, if you ask someone who lives on the East Coast who doesn't watch Western Conference basketball, like I said, I'm sure that they've heard of him, right? Hey, I've heard of Donovan Mitchell on SportsCenter, or like I've heard the name, but I don't really know the face or the game. That's why Christmas Day is so important for someone like Don. This used to be. I think Devin Booker's largely got past this now. I think people know who Book is, but like even still, like being able to play on Christmas Day for LeBron and Kevin Durant, doesn't matter, right? I mean, everybody knows who they are. They're a household name. They're Olympic. Like they're all these great things, but for Don. And for Book and for Jason Tatum and for all these guys who are not 100% bona fide best player in the league, you're going to gain fans on Christmas Day.
Well, and I think, with all due respect to Donovan Mitchell, sure, I think most NBA fans know Donovan Mitchell's name. He's not a star, and I don't think he's a household name. He is certainly not, Durant, Curry, LeBron.
Yeah.
But what is he like? I would argue that Damian Lillard's a household name because he's hit so many big shots in the postseason.
Think about how much national TV Damian Lillard's been on.
A lot.
Think about that.
A lot. And this is the Devin Booker conversation.
It is.
One of the reasons that so many people believe that Devin Booker's going to leave the Suns and go to the Lakers is because the Suns have been trash for 10 years, and they've not been a relevant team. And then Book goes off in the bubble last year, and I think that raised his game and his profile.
Yeah.
And then to see him play so well this past season raised his profile. The thing that hurt Donovan Mitchell this past year is the Utah Jazz continued to win while he was hurt. And then when he came back, he really never came back. And he had a couple of really good performances in the postseason, but Donovan Mitchell was never 100%. He was limping around at the end of the Clippers series. So you finally get to a big series against a big market team like the Los Angeles Clippers, and Donovan Mitchell's not able to go full bore. I think that hurts your profile.
Yeah.
So a Christmas Day game where he's already, I think he's arguably top probably 15 players in the NBA.
But nobody knows that.
Nobody knows that.
And that's why I want to preface this conversation. I don't want to start seeing in the comments, oh my God, you guys hate the Jazz. You think Donovan Mitchell sucks. We're not saying that. We're having a conversation about the PR side of the game, about the publicity side of the game, because that's very much a thing in the league. It doesn't matter. You can be a phenomenal skill guy, but if you have no ability to market yourself, no one's going to know about you.
Yeah. Eugene 12 says Donovan will get the respect once he breaks through to the finals. I would agree.
Yeah.
eBay the Silver Surfer says Donovan Mitchell is the future of the league. He's better than Luka. Well, and that's the difficult conversation.
I agree with that.
I think he's better, but he's not in NBA fans' minds. He's not better.
No, Luka is a global talent. You need to understand that. Luka's won championships in Europe.
Luka Doncic is a global brand.
Yes.
And now he just got incredible money. He's, again, there are issues with Luka, but he is more well-known and more respected than Donovan Mitchell is. And it's not because he's a better player than Don. He just simply has a much larger brand. He's with Jordan. He's got it. He's going to have his own Jordan shoe.
Yeah, with all due respect to Adidas.
Don's an Adidas guy. Now, in Salt Lake City, kids are wearing Donovan Mitchell. Again, the kid at Costco walked up to me wearing Don.
But you would expect that, right?
Yes.
In Salt Lake City, you would expect that.
But in Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago,
Atlanta.
How many people are wearing Donovan Mitchell's shoe?
Yeah.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Not many. Now, New York, he's a New Yorker. His dad works for the Mets. He spends all his time in New York.
He's throwing the first pitch at the Mets game.
That's I think people know. New York is a basketball mecca. My guess is there's a lot of people who know him. He works with Chris Brickley pretty much daily. My guess is a lot of people know who Donovan Mitchell is in New York.
Yeah.
He's got to have that performance. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to perform on Christmas Day. And then hopefully this team performs and they can win more than one series in the playoffs and actually go to the Western Conference Finals, because that's how you really grow and project your game.
Yeah.
Is going to the Western Conference Finals, getting to the NBA Finals, being in front of all those people. That's what this Christmas Day game is about for the Utah Jazz. It's respect, but it's also notoriety, in my opinion.
100% agree.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, comment dump. Mark J says, I'll drive from St. George to pick up my new smoker. Hey, we're rolling.
Let's go.
We're getting towards 1,700 now, and when we get to 2,500 subscribers, we are going to give away a Traeger Ironwood 650 smoker on this show. We're going to give you a bag of our favorite pellets. We're going to give you all the trimmings and accoutrements. By the way, it is storming here in Utah this morning. Rain, wind, it's cold. It's okay. The Traeger smoker's sitting out there under its weatherproof cover.
That cover's legit, dude.
It is, but I'm going to put it in the garage during the winter, by the way. But anyway, here nor there.
Yeah.
Point is, we got you hooked up. All you got to do is hit subscribe, take a picture that you're subscribed, and tag us on either Twitter, Instagram, or the meteorically rising TikTok. I'm over 100 followers on TikTok now.
Yeah, you said you're at 173, right?
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, on all those platforms, you can find me, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. Jake is SLC Supercars. Let's talk about this Trevor Bauer thing, because this is a big deal. Wait, let me get some more comments real quick, though. Luca plays in Dallas, Josh Loverin says. SLC is like Portland. Kids only wear Dame's shoe, too. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
Teddy Wayman says, I agree that he is a top 15 player. He just doesn't get recognition. Absolutely
Agreed.
right.
100% agree.
Teddy, you're exactly right. eBay the Sofa Surfer says, I suspect in year 5 or 6 of his shoe, his quote-unquote brand will take off. I think your brand taking off is largely dependent on how you play on the floor.
You gotta, you can't. I think what you described earlier about the injury limiting his ability to beat the Clippers is spot on. You can't. You got to at least get to the Western Conference Finals to continue to grow from where you are now. That's what has to happen.
Okay, Red Heart Norvis, my man. My childhood Christmas NBA was always a rerun. I had 2 choices. Number 1, watch the NBA.
Okay.
Number 2, watch our hot neighbor having sex with her soldier husband that gets to come home only on Christmas. My view from my... you had a good view? WC, I view from my bedroom window. I don't know what WC means, but...
I don't know either.
You got a really good view from your bedroom window. Hey, man.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Yeah, you know. Game on, dude. James Knight says, guys, I must admit the exposure of the NBA is limited down here, and without my NBA League Pass, I wouldn't see many Jazz games. Well, of course not.
Yeah.
Joshua Loverin says, am I crazy to think that Mitchell is PG-13 2.0? Not yet, he's not.
Yeah, and the thing. Here's the tough thing with that comparison, and any comparison that has to do with someone who's 6'8". Donovan Mitchell is not 6'8", and you can't teach somebody to be 6'8" who's not, obviously. So the issue is that Paul George can do things and get to places on the floor and take shots that Don's not going to be taking, because that's not his game, because he's not 6'8". So it's not to say that Paul George is head and shoulders better than Donovan Mitchell, but what it is to say is when Paul George wants to back someone down on the block, he can do that. When Paul George wants to play bully ball, he can do that easily. Not a problem at all. When Paul George wants to play defense on a big, he can do that. Donovan Mitchell cannot do that. Donovan Mitchell will not be backing people down on the post almost ever. So it's just it's a thing where the size that Paul George has gives him the ability to be more dominant closer to the basket.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
Well, and I think when you look at, I'm currently texting with an NBA guy that I know who says that we're crazy for talking about Don's shoe.
What do you mean? Why is that?
Don's shoe will never take off.
Wow.
I kind of agree that Adidas is a very secondary brand. By the way,
It is.
Who's Adidas' biggest star right now?
Trae Young?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows Trae Young wears Adidas. I mean, I think some people know Dame wears Adidas. Their biggest star is
Wait,
James
I got
Harden.
one. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Patrick Beverly.
Okay, take it easy. And this dude, this NBA guy I know, made a great point. James Harden wears Adidas, and nobody knows it. And that's true. I mean, if you want to be a star, you either go with one of the Pacific Rim, one of the Chinese or Japanese companies like Li Ning.
Anta.
Anta is a big one because those companies pay huge money, and you become a global star, a la Klay Thompson, Gordon Hayward, Dwayne Wade.
Look at Steph. I mean, Steph is a global star. Now, he's with Under Armour, and I'm not going to sit here and say that Under Armour is bigger than Adidas, certainly, but
and I think Steph is one of the few who you can flip that script on. Steph has made his shoe what it is.
Yeah.
Because he's won multiple championships. He's a likable figure.
Think of it this way.
He's a really good guy. He's made Under Armour basketball and the Steph Curry what it is.
How many people know that Joel Embiid's an Under Armour guy?
I don't think very many. You know, the other company that's really struggling is Puma.
Yeah.
How many people know that?
Can you name a Puma athlete right now?
You know, Kyle Kuzma,
LaMelo Ball, Marvin Bagley,
oh my God, DeAndre Ayton.
You
know, like you just don't know. You don't know, right? Unless you're a shoe guys like we are. But Donovan Mitchell. My guess is Donovan Mitchell will not always be an Adidas guy.
I hope not. I'd love to see him in a
happens.
Nike, dude. I'd love to see him in a Nike, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, it is. It's really interesting to me that, and Puma really is trying to break in. I think the LaMelo signing is huge for them. That was a big get for them.
Let me put it this way: you'll never find me in Donovan Mitchell's shoe on the court. Let me put it that way. Not to be harsh, but
Yeah.
I'm a Nike guy.
Brandon Whiteside says we had Christmas Day game in 2018. The Jazz have had several Christmas Day games. They've never been this relevant, in my opinion. To the modern era of NBA, to the now millennial generation. In 2018, they were not this caliber of basketball team.
You got to remember, though, when we talk about generations, millennials are not the only generation that should be considered now. I mean, Gen Z is, coming into their 20s now. I mean, they have, power here.
Yeah, Jack Harlow is moving New Balance. Crazy cool. Go Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, again, a guy, Jack Harlow. I mean, he's been coming up for the last 2 years.
Kawhi Leonard is New Balance basketball.
No, they're not. He's not saying that Jack Harlow is basketball. He's saying from a brand perspective, like rappers and personalities are getting into shoes.
Well, and I think that's why, so many people are interested in Puma, just you're not buying it.
How many people know that? How many people know? I think it's fascinating. How many people know that Drake is a Nike guy? That he's at Nike, he's paid by Nike. How many people know that?
I don't know how many people know that, but people buy his stuff. I mean, and it's global. Like his OVO Air Force One, I think it was an Air Force One. I mean, absolutely dominated in the Middle East. Like it's crazy. Like Dubai bought as many of those shoes as anybody.
Yeah.
I look at Kanye with the Yeezy brand is probably the best crossover.
I do not like the Yeezy brand at all.
I liked Yeezy. I liked the Yeezys when they were at Nike. The Adidas stuff is trash. Josh Levern says Puma basketball shoes only have bigs. Well, I would disagree with that.
I mean, but
Terry
but
Rozier
for the
and
most
LaMelo
part,
Ball.
Yeah, I mean, but for them, they've been that. I mean, his point is well taken. Like initially, Puma was about the bigs. Like they again, Marvin Bagley. You've got all these other guys who they've kind of brought on, and isn't I could be wrong.
R.J. Barrett Puma too?
Yes, R.J. Barrett is Puma as well. Yes.
Federico Fonseca says R.J. Barrett's Puma. I didn't know that.
And I want to say, no, I thought I saw somewhere that Kemba had joined them, but I could be wrong about that. But anyway, here nor there, it doesn't matter.
If Kemba joined Puma, they're going down the tubes.
Yeah, either way, here nor there. The point is that Donovan Mitchell needs Christmas Day games like this to build the brand. That's what he needs, and they need to win the game.